Hello, my name is Shan Stratton, owner of Restore Health Plus. And today I'd like to take a few minutes and really share with you part of what our mission is. Mission to help people find tips and tricks and educational pieces and material to improve your quality of life, to really restore your health back to what it was. Maybe it was when you were a kid, maybe it was when you were just younger, maybe it was just a few weeks or months ago. But restoring your health back to a time is probably something that's pretty common or commonly desired by most people in America. You know, I've been in this industry for going on 35, 36 years now, and throughout these years, I've worked with hundreds, if not thousands, of professional athletes and millions of people just like you. And I always got over the years, the questions like, Shan, why, even though despite trying to eat healthy and exercise, I can't lose this body fat? Or, Shan, after I eat, man, I feel bloated, or I have indigestion or acid reflux or heartburn, or, Shan, I get sick a lot, and I'm a pretty healthy person, but I get sick a lot. Those types of things are pretty common. And if you can relate to those, rest assured that regardless of the issue, in almost, if not every single case, it can be brought back to a gut issue. That's right. Our gut dictates and controls more aspects of our health than any other organ or any other system within our body. You've probably heard of what's called the gut-brain axis. And that's the communication between the brain and the gut. There's a two-way communication that goes between that brain and your gut. And guess what? 10 times more communication goes from the gut to the brain than from the brain to the gut. Your gut dictates almost every single thing you feel, you think, your emotions. It all starts in the gut. And guess what makes your gut either healthy or unhealthy? There's two substances. We can narrow it down and keep it very simple. Two substances is going to dictate the beginning of all of these different aspects, healthy or unhealthy, that we experience. Those two aspects are enzymes and probiotics. Enzymes and probiotics are what create that microbiome in our gut. And so we have to look at, where do we get enzymes? How important are they? Where can we consume them from? What are probiotics? How do we get them? How do we deplete them? Or how do we increase them in our gut and in our system? Let's start with enzymes. Enzymes are in every single raw food on the face of the earth. I don't care if it's a fruit or a vegetable, a leaf on a tree, the human body. Every single tissue that is living has enzymes in it. If it's that important to every living organism, then it's probably important for us to take a look at, how do we get them, or are we depleting them before we consume them? Because that is really the essence of what's going on. We should be getting them from the foods we eat, much like the vitamins and minerals and nutrients, carbohydrates, proteins, fats, all of those we should be getting from the foods we eat and the water that we drink. If you cook and or process any of your foods, you kill every enzyme in that food. 100% of them. Enzymes are required and actually designed to break nutrients down into a usable, burnable form of energy. So when you take a raw food, again, whether it's a fruit or a vegetable or a raw slab of meat, whether it be fish or chicken or bison or anything else, if it's raw, it has enzymes in it. And as soon as you cook it, you kill those enzymes, which I'm telling you is so important for the aspects of gut health. Let me give you a visual. If you take any raw food, a banana or an apple or whatever, let's take a banana, and if we cut this banana in half and we sit it out in the sun, you wait an hour or two and come back, this banana is starting to get brown and getting soft. Some call it getting rotten. If you come back 8 or 10 hours later of being in the sun, or maybe a day or two, it's mush. Same with the apple or a salad or whatever it is. The warmth of the sun activated the enzymes within these raw foods because they're packed full of enzymes. And those enzymes start to break it down, digest it into a burnable, usable, liquid type form. Well, as soon as you cook that food or process that food with any type of heat, you kill every enzyme in there. So let's take a food that's cooked or processed, Big Mac, Whopper, piece of bread, or let's take some healthy foods, grilled chicken breast, filleted fish that's cooked, baked potatoes, some steamed vegetables. Any of those foods that you sit out in the sun, the same place we did that banana, if you come back 8 hours later, that Big Mac or that grilled chicken breast is certainly not getting softer. It's still the same and starting to get harder. Come back a day, 2 days, 5 days, 7 days, come back 365 days or 5 years later, those foods are still there. Unless the birds got them. Okay, but the food in and of itself is still there because when you cooked it, you killed the digestibility or the capability of that food to be broken down into a burnable, usable form. So now take that scenario into our body. We take a raw food, we chew it up, we swallow it, sits in this upper portion of the stomach. The stomach secretes a tiny, teeny, tiny little bit of hydrochloric acid to activate those enzymes with the warmth of the body, the digestive tract, the gut. That starts those enzymes to break that food down into a liquid, usable, burnable form of energy. Now, on the flip side of that, in comes the cooked or processed food. Healthy or unhealthy, I don't care. We chew it up, we swallow it. Upper portion of the stomach. Stomach secretes a tiny little bit of hydrochloric acid, but nothing can start happening because the enzymes are gone. So here we are in the gut, in the stomach, saying, hey, these foods aren't getting broken down, and I've got to start forcing this stuff through the system, so I better put more acid in there. Still, not much is happening, so now the stomach, like a bubbling cauldron, okay, is secreting so much acid to try and just soften those foods just enough to force it through the system. But we've missed that opportunity to access and utilize or burn those nutrients for energy. And what happens in that scenario is we end up having to rob from different parts of the body metabolic enzymes dedicated for metabolism to be used for digestion. Therefore, our metabolism goes down. See, we can see the studies that show as enzyme count goes up, metabolism can equally increase. So when people say, I've got an issue with my metabolism, one of the first things I look at is, are we getting enough enzymes in the food, and is the gut balanced? See, those enzymes are vitally important. Foods cannot be utilized until they are digested. You'll often hear me say, nutrient utilization is more important than just nutrient consumption. Just because you consume healthy foods does not mean you're going to utilize them. Here's another example. We all know those people, maybe yourself, that are able to eat anything they want, healthy, unhealthy. They go to fast food restaurants all the time, and they always stay skinny and healthy, and their energy's high, and man, they seem like they're on cloud nine all the time, and they don't even eat that great. Well, now, on the flip side, we also know people that try and eat healthy, that try and cut fats out of their food and increase this and decrease that, but yet no matter what you do, you can't get the weight off. Your energy's low. You have a hard time focusing sometimes, mental clarity, that fogginess. But yet you're trying to eat healthy. And people say, oh, it's my metabolism. Well, let's look at the very definition of metabolism. Metabolism is defined as the burning and or utilizing of nutrients for energy. Undigested food cannot be burned, metabolized, until it's digested. So you increase the digestion of your food you're consuming, you're going to be able to utilize them. Look at it this way. We could drill down in the earth and bring up raw crude oil, and it's valuable. We use it for all kinds of aspects in America and around the world today. Crude oil is so valuable. One of the things that we do with oil is we can process it and create, after we break it down, gasoline. And that gasoline we can put in a car and we can drive because it creates energy within the engine and makes the wheels turn and makes everything function and everything's great. But can you imagine if we just took the crude oil and put it in the gas tank? It's going to mess things up. That car is not going to function properly. Much like many of America and a world putting foods in our body without the ability to break it down into a usable, burnable form, otherwise known as metabolism. So enzymes and probiotics, which we're going to talk about next, regulate your metabolism. Enzymes and probiotics regulate your metabolism. You want to increase your metabolism, you increase your enzymes and probiotics. See, those are important aspects that we need people to understand. Okay, so if enzymes are required to break our food down, then what about the probiotics? You know, how do enzymes and probiotics work together? And together is the key word. Enzymes and probiotics work hand in hand. They should function together. And in fact, they should be formulated in any supplement that you're taking, whether you're taking mine, okay, whether you're taking Restore Health Plus, or whether you're taking my Gut Restore, or whether you're taking someone else's. The important part is that you make sure those enzymes are formulated to work synergistically together with the probiotics because they lean on each other. Without the other, one of them is not going to function as needed. Enzymes break the food down. Probiotics regulate the uptake or utilization of those nutrients. So just by increasing the digestion doesn't mean you're going to increase the utilization until you address the probiotics. Now, there are only about 14 or 15 stabilized strains of probiotics in the whole world. There's thousands and thousands of different microbiome strains internally, but there's only 14 or 15 that are stabilized, meaning you don't have to keep them in the refrigerator. And you also need to make sure you take as much broad strain as possible. A lot of times people will take just an acidophilus or a reuteri or a bifidum, okay, and those are the most common, but you want to make sure that you get all 13, 14, 15 different stabilized strains like we provide in our Gut Restore. But the probiotic is what regulates, builds, controls the microbiome, okay, that gut health. And as I told you, the gut communicates 10 times more to the brain than the brain does to the gut. One of the things that the gut creates and provides to the brain is serotonin and dopamine. Those are the happy neurotransmitters, the happy hormones that make us happy. And without serotonin, without dopamine, we start having more of those issues nationwide, worldwide, like depression, anxiety, things that we're seeing common, ADD, ADHD, things like that. We're seeing it more and more and more common, and that is dictated, controlled by the gut. 90+% of our serotonin is created and provided to the brain in the gut. If your gut is weak, if your microbiome is weak, meaning you don't have enough good, healthy, pro-living biotics, then your gut is going to have some issues. 60 to 70 million Americans have been diagnosed each year with gut issues, whether that be acid reflux, heartburn, indigestion, leaky gut syndrome, diverticulitis, colitis, things like that in the lower GI. All of those are probiotic deficiencies. We want to make sure that we understand enzymes break the food down. Probiotics are the gatekeepers, if you will, that says, okay, you're broken down enough. I'm going to open the gate and let you be taken up into the system, into our bloodstream to be carried throughout the body. Now, that's an important part as well. If you think about it and you understand and you know, if you don't, I'm going to tell you, every single nutrient is carried throughout our body within the red blood cells. If it's not small enough to get taken up after the probiotic says, okay, I'm going to let you through, If it's not small enough to get taken up into a red blood cell, it cannot be utilized because the red blood cell is what picks it up and carries it. So if you can imagine in your brain how tiny a red blood cell is, that helps you understand how important it is to take that grilled chicken breast you're eating, that steak, that baked potato, that Whopper, that apple, that banana, that herbal, whatever it is. If it doesn't have enzymes to break it down, it's not going to get small enough. And this is what happens. When we chew up or swallow cooked or processed foods, sits in that upper portion of the stomach, more acid, more acid, more acid, because there are no enzymes, and that high 2.5 pH, or I'm sorry, 1.5 to 2.5 pH, super acidic, is going to start deteriorating that microbiome. High acid depletes the microbiome. Depletion of the microbiome affects almost every single system within your body. If you want to address any aspect of unhealthiness, you first have to look at the gut. Enzymes, probiotics should be formulated together. So whoever and whatever product you take out there, whoever you follow and believe in, hopefully you trust and believe in me, but if it's someone else, just make sure that their enzyme probiotic blend is formulated to work synergistically together so that it is activated and utilized through all the different pHs of the body. That's what a stabilized probiotic is. And a good enzyme, they are activated at different pH ranges, different pHs, rather than heat. Often people don't realize that infections in the ear, an ear infection, that is a probiotic deficiency. Okay, sore throat, it's a probiotic deficiency. Acid reflux, heartburn, indigestion, that's an enzyme/probiotic deficiency. Lower GI, yeast infections, diverticulitis, colitis, those are enzyme probiotic deficiencies. Constipation, diarrhea, those are enzyme probiotic deficiencies. Folks, to begin the restoration of your health, it has to start with enzymes and probiotics. We hope that you understand that we as a company focus on gut health. Everything we do is enzymes, probiotics, and then everything else revolves around that. As you're watching this video and you like it, I hope that you subscribe or you like or follow us, whatever platform you're watching us on. But we appreciate your support. We're going to continue to teach tricks and tips and guidance and all the different things that you need to be able to find good, true, healthy life. Again, we appreciate you supporting us. We look forward to the next time. And until then, we hope you have a great day.